Hello, welcome to the Midnight Bible Study. I'm Pete, and we are covering the Catechism of the Catholic Church. That we're looking at the Doubleday version. I don't work for Doubleday or anything like that, or I'm getting nothing out of this other than in terms of finances. I just happen to have this, and it's over 8 million copies in print worldwide. It seems like it's a very good version of it. It's easy to follow compared to some of the other ones that I have, which are not complete and updated like this one. So today we're going to cover how can we speak about God, which is on page 21 and covers paragraphs 39 to 43. And I'm going to add a little bit of commentary on this because I feel like it needs it. So let's get going. All right, paragraph 39. In defending the ability of human reason to know God. So that's what this is about, the ability of human reason to know God. Now, right off from the start, I feel like it's a little bit, there's something there, and I think reason plays a part in knowing God. But on the other hand, I feel like it's this the overemphasis on reason is it appeals to some types of minds. But I feel it could leave certain people like myself a little bit cold. For example, like I could say, a mother has a womb. I was born of a womb, therefore you are my mother. Okay? Is that going to strengthen my bond and my relationship with my mother? Just because I used logic and created I used reason in order to know her? I don't think so. It seems a little cold to me. And so I think there's other ways, for example, to define a mother, which are perhaps better than just straight reason. But anyway, let's move on. Defending the ability of reason to know God, the church is expressing her confidence in the possibility of speaking about him. That's important, with the possibility of speaking about him to all men and with all men, and therefore of dialogue. So this is about dialogue with other religions, with philosophy and science, as well as with unbelievers and atheists. So this is, how do we speak about God? How do we, are we able to do it adequately with language in dialogue? All right, paragraph 40. Since our knowledge of God is limited, our language about him is equally so. We can name God only by taking creatures as our starting point. Okay, starting point is a key word there. Okay, and in accordance with our limited human ways of knowing and thinking. All right, paragraph 41. For example, we can name God only by taking creatures as our starting point. We can look at a racehorse, for example, beautiful, magisterial. It's God's creation. It tells us something about God. God created that racehorse. We can look into the eyes and see that. We can see the personality of that horse in the eyes, and there's a soul in there, and a love in those eyes. If it's got so that's what we can name God only by taking creatures as our starting point. But I would add, why not take the Gospels as our starting point? Maybe that's why I say starting point is a good word here, because maybe we start with the racehorse or man, and we go, all right, and then maybe we move to the Gospels. But they don't add the Gospels, and I would add that in there, because why not if you want to know God, why not, for example, if you want to know God and you want to get a sense of him, just open up the Bible. For example, here's a random page in Matthew in my Bible, and you'll notice that there's lots of underlinings and highlights, those kind of things. Well, these are key passages, and in the red letter version, and we can get little glimpses of God's personality through the things he says, the things he does, the directions he gives. And I think that would be an excellent starting point. So that's just my own commentary on this, because I felt for me that the things you're saying here are a little bit inadequate. All right. Paragraph 41. All creatures bear a certain resemblance to God, most especially man, created in the image and likeness of God. The manifold perfections of creatures, their truth, their goodness, their beauty, all reflect the infinite perfection of God. So true. Consequently, we can name God by taking his creatures' perfections as our starting point. So we can look at that racehorse and let's say the love in the horse's eyes, that sort of thing, the speed of the majesty as it races down the horse. We can by taking these creatures' perfections as our starting point. For from greatness and beauty of created things comes corresponding perception of their creator. So there's something there. There's something there. I think we could go to it's a little bit hollow, maybe, in the sense that, I mean, it's the fact that they're talking about the inadequacy is so true, because just for example, we go, okay, look at that horse, look at it run. We can see something there, but to give you just a sense of how inadequate that is, it's the same at the same time. It's beautiful and it's there and it's real and it is God's creation and it is a representation. It's also a limited representation because for example, what we don't necessarily think about is the fact that take a human body. Oh, there's a person. That's the image of God. Okay, but what we don't see, that's what we see. But what about what we don't see? The fact that person is made of 700 skeletal muscles, including 400 that only specialists even know about or care about. The human body contains 30 to 40 trillion cells. That tells us something about God. He doesn't just create a person in his image. I mean, to do that it was a creation of 30 to 40 trillion cells. So that tells you the astounding a lot. It tells you something about God, which is it's beyond. God is beyond. He's so different from us. He's so much more grand and magnificent than us in terms of his ability. I can't even conceive of 30 to 40 trillion cells. I don't know what a trillion is. It's too grand for me. I know what 100 is. All right. Each one of those 30 to 40 trillion cells contains more than 1,000 billion protein molecules. I mean, how amazing is God that this is the kind of scales that he works with? There are about 200 different types of cells, all right? So just looking at someone going, oh, that's a great image. Okay, it doesn't even give us a glimpse of the complexity and miraculous nature of that person and what God is actually. So I'm just saying we can look deeper than just what they're talking about here. The typical brain, for example, over 100 billion neurons in just the brain alone. So we can go deeper. All right, God transcends all creatures. This is paragraph 42. God transcends all creatures. We must therefore continually purify our language. Okay, of everything that is in the limited, image-bound, and imperfect, if we are not to confuse our image of God, the inexpressible, the incomparable, the invisible, and ungraspable with the human representations, our words always fall short of the mystery of God. That last sentence is key. Our words always fall short of the mystery of God. And it starts out by saying, we must therefore continually purify our language. Well, that would be the word continually is I think crucial, because because we're never going to capture God with our language. I don't think we're ever going to capture him, because he's way, way, way too grand and way too amazing and way too profound for us to ever capture in our language. So we must continually purify our language, but even then we're never going to capture him at least for now. But again, that points me back to the gospel, because our words always fall short of the mystery of God. And I don't trust my words. My words are going to fall. My words are going to stumble around in the darkness to a great extent. But I can turn to the gospel, and I can find words in the gospel that will give me, words from Christ himself, from his parables, that can give me glimpses of the mystery of God. Just glimpses. All right. And paragraph 43. Admittedly, in speaking about God like this, our language is using human modes of expression. Nevertheless, it really does attain to God himself, though our language is using human modes of expression. Nevertheless, it really does attain to God himself, though unable to express him in his infinite simplicity. Likewise, we must recall that between creator and creator and creature, no similitude can be expressed without implying an even greater dissimilitude. And that's so true. I mean, yeah, we are created in his image, and there is some, there's got to be a similarity there if he created us in his image. On the other hand, turning back to this, if we look back to the words of the New Testament in the Gospels, Matthew is all I'm looking at the moment. We can look at the Red Letter Bible and we can find out, there's the vine. We're similar. We're created as him, but how dissimilar are we in it? We can find words like, with the vine and the branch. Okay, there's a difference between the vine and the branch. There's a difference between the Father and the child. There's a difference between the Creator and the creation. And we can times that by 1,000 or 1,000,000 in order to look at the dissimilitude between us and God, even though we're created in his image. And that concerning God, we cannot grasp what he is, but only what he is not, and how other beings stand in relation to him. So there you go. That is chapter 4, section 4, and paragraphs 39 to 43. So thank you for listening. God bless you, and good night from the Midnight Bible Study.